Hello again and welcome. Thank you for checking out this video. I was not of the mindset of, I wasn't planning on putting anything out today, but interesting things have been occurring here. If you watched my initial video when I began this channel, I stated a few things that have been occurring with regards to me personally, and this video is not going to be about me. But I usually have to spill the beans a little bit of why I'm doing the video. Whenever I go out, people who are on the verge of encountering some form of spiritual enlightenment, a spiritual moment, they flock to me. So I stopped going out because I'm still trying to find my place in this world. So I'm on Twitter. So now they appear to me in Twitter messages, which is fine, which is great, because the initiation comes from them, not from me. I'm definitely not forcing anyone or, twisting your arm. But the theme definitely seems to be there's a lot of query, there's a lot of questioning with regards to the last video that I put out, which discussed the energy, the emotion slash energy of fear. It seems the energy of fear right now is masking itself around the world in society. It was masking itself in me. um, Probably in you and the people around you, your family and your friends and whoever, your colleagues at work. It's coming out in the shape or in the form of anger, the energy of anger. I would like to point something out here. Um, the anger is very personal. Everyone experiences it differently. And everyone will express anger depending on their own emotional maturity. They are going to express anger differently. You might, over the past 2 to 3 years, have found that the level of anger in people around you, including your own self, definitely have magnified or intensified. And you're wondering why. What's going on? And it seems to me that society, for the most part, is just brushing it under the carpet. It's being accepted. It's anger, and anger that is acted upon seems to just, yeah, everyone's okay with it now. Suddenly, it's a normal function. It's a normal energy that appears in Western society when it was not the case before. So anger appears, or we channel it differently depending on our own upbringing, depending on your own upbringing, your childhood, your traumas, your fears. So you have anger, which is simply an emotion. And then you have, I guess, rage or toxic rage, or the other term for it is narcissistic anger. This is anger that is a pattern. It's habitual. It is from traumatic incidents from childhood. And it frequently results in the behavior of toxic rage, which is action. Taking action in anger. Have you been experiencing this at home, in your home environment, in your work environment, between your friends, colleagues? Have you noticed people acting, lashing out in anger more, projecting anger more? Are you projecting anger more on social media, with your friends and family, in your behaviors? Have you noticed? So there seems to be, I'm having interesting conversations on Twitter, which is interesting on its own because Twitter is a shit show. Twitter is the platform I avoid. But as of recently, I have noticed that some interesting things are happening to me quietly behind the scenes, not in public on Twitter, in DMs. So here I am doing this video where I am not going to psychoanalyze you because I am not a psychotherapist or a psychoanalyst. You can definitely go find one and get psychoanalyzed by a professional, licensed therapist, which is not me. I'm simply here sharing what I've learned from what I've gone through in my life, and specifically over the past 2.5 years. I've learned quite a bit. And my approach is holistic. It always has been. It's why I left medicine. Medicine was too much of it became too mechanical for me. I'm a holistic person. I can't segment things this way. And I don't separate nature from science per se, the way medicine does. So I do approach things holistically, so you are welcome to take the advice here after you research it, because that's what you should do. Not just take advice from any person online, do your own research. So this video is about how to diffuse the anger, especially your own. Forget about people, forget about those outside of you. Focus on you. Focus on yourself. How do you feel when you get angry? Do you feel good? Is this an emotion or an energy that you like to remain in? Or what do you do? What usually happens to you when you feel angry? Do you spiral out of control and literally go into action of toxic rage and anger and projecting it onto others? What do you do to diffuse your anger? Over the past 2.5 years, I personally noticed bubbling anger in me. And for the most part, I stayed home. I did not go out, and I didn't understand why this anger, it would come in waves. Waves. In the beginning, I would project it. I had a YouTube channel. Oh dear, dear Lord, the amount of projection I did on there. And on my and then social media, just like everyone else. And then came the spiritual hit, which sort of corrected me a little bit. So here I am. What I did, things that I began to do, I'm going to list them for you in hopes that they trigger something in you. Maybe something resonates and you decide, you know what, I'm going to try this too. Before COVID, before all of this, sorry, I probably shouldn't be saying that. Don't want to get my video censored. Before the craziness began, I had started listening to something called binaural beats. You don't have to, I'm not selling anything. You can do your own research, find your own binaural beats. You want to pay for them, pay for them. You don't want to pay for them, don't. You don't want to listen to them at all, don't. As I said, these are mere suggestions on how I centered myself and resolved a lot of these emotions and energies that keep us trapped in patterns, that keep us trapped in cycles of life, that prevent us from reaching our highest outcomes and potentials. Binaural beats are lovely. It's best to listen to them through headphones. You can do your research and understand how they work on all the different binaural beats. The main frequency I listened to was 432 hertz. And you can definitely look that up as well. It is related to quantum numerology, which is something I have grown to develop quite a passion for. Meditative Mind comes to my mind right now. It is a YouTube channel that plays binaural beats. It's one of the top YouTube channels with regards to that stuff. You can definitely look it up and follow. So that's one thing I did to diffuse my rage, because the music it's essentially soothing music. Not every frequency is going to be your cup of tea, which is why I urge you to go through the different frequencies and find the tunes that resonate with your subconscious mind. Subconscious minds. So it's lovely music, it's continuous music. Some of it can be repetitive, but it definitely plays a role in calming down that energy. For me, for me, it did that for me. If you don't want to play binaural beats, you are welcome to play classical, piano, guitar, cello, who knows, whatever music. Hopefully not violent, hate-filled something or crazy rap or I don't know, WAP, wet ass pussy, or I don't know what people think is music these days. Something calm that you can submerge yourself in and diffuse the energy of anger, rage, or hate. Another thing you could do is remain in solitude. That's something I enjoy a lot, actually. When I'm not feeling well, I don't really like going out in public. Don't really like surrounding myself with people, especially people I'm not comfortable being around, because chances are you're going to react. The energy will not stabilize, and you will somewhat blow up, blow a fuse. You will project. I also try to avoid little children. Little children, not because I'm going to hurt them. Little children are extremely sensitive to energy. At least I was as a child, and I do appreciate that factor. So when I'm not feeling the greatest, I really remove myself from any situation where there are children. I don't even want them to see me or feel, or I don't want them to feel that vibration coming out of me, because they will. So that's something else I would look into. I would remove myself from social obligations, big events. Make your space small. Small. That will help contain, not small to suffocate, small just to avoid more triggers, if you may. It might help contain that energy. Another thing I would highly recommend is a walk, a very lovely walk, maybe even listening to some binaural beats or some soft music while you're walking. The important thing that I am not mentioning right now, I'll mention it because I probably am going to forget at the end. While you're doing all these activities that I am suggesting to you to diffuse the energy of anger, which is everywhere on earth right now, humanity, make no mistake, is suffering, depending on the person. But a lot of people remain unconscious, and a lot of people thus are suffering. Do not think of what is troubling you as you meditate, as you walk, as you listen to music, as you isolate yourself, whatever it is you decide to do to calm yourself. Avoid the thoughts that trigger you. What's the point of listening to soft music if you're going to keep repeating the scenario in your head and charging it and playing it and replaying it and adding to it and subtracting from it? What's the point? Will it solve anything? No. So the point is to not engage in any patterning that will continue charging the thoughts that are making you angry. Break it. Break the cycle, break the pattern. Listen to music and focus on what you're doing is the other thing. Focus and live as much as you can in the now. The event that is upsetting you or the rage that you're feeling most likely has passed. Don't reactivate it. Let it go. A good example, especially in these days, that I've noticed people use, especially in the spiritual community, is the thoughts that make you angry. Look at them as a browser. You know, like you have windows and you open and you click here and you click there. Click on the pleasant thoughts. The unpleasant thoughts, remove them. X them out. Close the window. Don't keep clicking and searching. If that helps, if that comparison helps you. I said meditation, but I didn't really talk about meditation. Meditation is something that is near and dear to my own heart. I'm going to dedicate at least one video, if not more, to meditation. But if you're a person who has not tried meditation, I would definitely look into look into it. It's not easy. A lot of people hate it because it requires you sitting down and stopping thought, which a lot of us are not. We're not good at. We don't know how to, because a lot of us actually think that we think that we are the ones who initiate thoughts. People do not understand that thinking and thought is something that happens to them. It is outside of your control. Eckhart Tolle compares it to a beating heart. You don't beat your heart. You don't sit there and say, I'm going to beat my heart. Do you focus on beating your heart every minute of every day? No, it just happens. Same with the thinking process. Thinking is something that happens to you. You are not in control of it. The only difference is your heart beating on its own is actually a good thing. Your mind constantly feeding and reincarnating thoughts is not a good thing, because people tend to get lost in their thoughts. And we are currently in an evolution process humanity is going through. And that evolution process is going to take us beyond thought, which is why some of us are here doing these videos. The other thing you can do if you're a person who's very physical or fit is working out. Now, I'm not going to say, like, don't go and hurt yourself, but maybe a punching bag, or something healthy, something that will give you more strength. Or dance. Isn't that a lovely thing? Body movement, which also falls into the category of physical fitness. Once again, I would like to remind you to stop the process of thought in order for any of these to be effective, in order for any of these to truly work, and for you to feel relief from the energy of anger, toxicity, and hate. The other thing I like to do, and again, this video is a little bit all-encompassing. It might be a bit too much, so I might end up dissecting it. Please leave your comments and let me know your thoughts. But breathing exercises, which are a big part of meditation, which are a big part of fitness, physical activity. When you're angry, you realize that you are essentially channeling a vibration. You are channeling an energy. Energy is vibration. Everything is vibration. So when you're channeling the energy of anger or hate, a lot of us fuse ourselves with that energy, and we become it. You become the anger, you become the monster, you become the toxic rage. You've lost who you are. The person who you know to be is gone, because you become consumed by this energy, this toxic energy. And then when the event is done, you feel nothing but remorse, and you feel awful. And sadly, a lot of people repeat the pattern again and again, which ends up in an abusive, this is the definition of an abusive relationship. But the abusive relationship that we have is with ourselves. We abuse ourselves by allowing this energy to fuse with us. So when you begin the breathing exercises, what I would highly, highly recommend you to do is to focus on releasing the anger energy that you are feeling. Locate where you're feeling it in your body. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, focus on the heaviness that you're feeling, not the anger. Focus on the emotion and release it. Let it go. As you do this, you're going to have to do this for a few breaths. It doesn't happen in one breath or two or three. It can take up to 20. So take your time, and please don't hyperventilate. Find a good breathing exercise. And as you do this, you begin to learn you begin to develop pathways, neural pathways, of how to separate yourself from the emotion that you're feeling. You begin to understand that the experience that you're going through, that the experience that you have gone through, is not you. It is nothing but energy passing through you. Currently, in this earth, some of us realize this and we act as channels. And we release the energy. We channel energy. That is what we do. I'm not going to get into woo-woo stuff because I don't want to lose people. But the energy that you feel, don't act on it, release it. I'll get into why you need to release it and what releasing it actually means and signifies. This is a big part of shadow work and inner child psychology. But a lot of it is related to trapped trauma. Look at the trapped energy and the trapped trauma that makes you react, that makes you lash out as an inner child seeking to be set free. If you look at the energy of toxic rage as an angry little child inside of you, asking you to set it free, you will be able to successfully do all this and rid yourself of these patterns that are harming you. Forget about other people. Start with yourself. Fix yourself first, and then we can go outside of ourselves and fix others and help others. That is it. That's all I wanted to come on here today to say to you. There is a humongous heaviness that is being felt by a lot of us. A lot of us are what are known as empaths. And when we do videos like this, it's because we can feel the energies. And instead of coming on here and crying and screaming and yelling about this and that and the other, we are trying to help. So these are the things that I have at my disposal for you right now. Before I leave, it is still too early to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I am populating a Patreon. In the Patreon is a lot. I can't. The amount of downloads and stuff coming to me is unbelievable. I'm documenting it. Patreon is not ready to go live. But you are free to follow, like, and share this channel. I will share as much as I can. But the rest is going to go there in Patreon. So please be patient with me as I do all this. I am here to serve, and I am here to help, and I am in gratitude. Thank you.